Hi, my name is Eddie Sparks, Most Beach Marketing. Today's your Man Minute. Behind me is the actual Nautilus from the movie. Docked in Paphos, Cyprus. Anyway, let's talk about today when you need an attorney. Sometimes when you sign the contract, you should stop. You should say, easiest way when you're signing the contract and you don't know what it says is to say, hey, you know what? I usually notarize contracts, and I gotta go to the bank to do that. I like to notarize it at the bank, and that's gonna take me a minute. So if you could, I'll send this to you with the notarized copy, scanned and emailed. That way they have a copy, plus you have the original. It's always good to have the original. And then you read. If you don't understand something, it's better to pay 150, 200, 300 bucks to understand what you're signing than it is to fix something later. Because it's a funny thing that people know their contracts way better than yours, but sometimes people forget what it actually says. So it's always good to read your own contract, dum-dums. But sometimes people are dum-dums. So anyway, when you're signing a contract, that's my Man Minute for today. You don't really know what it says, just tell them you notarize it. Now the bank notarizes shit for free. You can notarize stuff at the Chase for free, no problem. I've done it 100 times. But they don't actually stamp. They don't actually stamp what's going on. Plus, both of you aren't there. There's a bunch of different things involved, especially with finances and stuff. But for a regular contract and stuff, it's good to know what in the world you're talking about. I feel like, you know, try to sign as little as possible. But sometimes it's always best to say or write down there, I promise to communicate for 5 or 6 days in a row on any problems that may occur in the future, and have them sign it. Just add it in pen. Have both of you sign it with the little date and sign it. There's usually an arbitration clause, but this is you handling your business because you need to handle your business. It's nobody else's business. Nobody needs to complain. You don't need to whine about stuff to everybody. You only need to do what you need to do. And if you talk to somebody and it didn't end up in your favor, then talk to them again. That's why you need to talk to them 5 or 6 days. There has to be a conclusion to what you're doing. And then you have to move on. You just have to go, or you have to stay. Because it's always better to do business with the same person than it is to do business with a different person, depending on the product, because some people are just terrible. But there's a difference between very good people that are terrible and very, very crappy people that are terrible. There's only so many good people at stuff in your area. You need to get to know them. Don't ever outsource anything. Just keep it in your area, grow your family, your business family, and keep them communicating with you on a regular basis, and listen to them because that's their hobby. They're good at that stuff. So you know what's going on, and you know what's the better thing or not the better thing, or you know what everybody else is doing, or you will hear through the grapevine about other things, and you can have your opinion, but it's always best when you're having contracts to make sure that you add a little line on the bottom that 5 or 6 days in a row you'll communicate. And until 5 or 6 days in a row of communication, they cannot enforce anything on the contract. And if I refuse or you refuse to communicate, it resets itself. But you always need to be fair, and you always need to handle it, because if you don't handle it now, you'll have to handle it now again, and then you'll have to handle it now, and then you'll have to keep thinking about it. The whole object is not to think about it, because thinking about it actually hurts your brain, and it hurts everyone else around it, and you mutter to yourself. So bringing closure and stuff like that needs to happen at the beginning instead of the end. It needs to happen when you're ready to do it. And I'm ready to do it now. But let's talk about our own communication channels and the fact that we need to communicate if any problems happen, and we'll be fair with each other. And don't forget to know when the close is and how to get out of it. So, my name is Ace Sparks from Cyprus. Here at the Nautilus, some man made it. Badass boat. And y'all have a good day. Keep your mouth shut. Don't forget to use the word today. Communicate, admit when you're wrong, and don't say nothing. And you're around women. Have a good day.
This is your Man Minute.